All right, so this one, wow, this deep dive is going to be interesting. You guys really sent us some fascinating stuff.
Yeah, definitely not the usual requests.
Not at all. It's AI in the military, but with a twist.
Right.
We're not just talking about drones and targeting systems. We're talking about robots potentially earning medals and even needing rehabilitation after war.
Heavy stuff. And to make it even more interesting, our main source is an article by a military chaplain.
A chaplain. That's not who I'd expect to be writing about robot soldiers.
Right. But it turns out he's really grappling with the ethical side of AI in warfare. Like, what does it mean for a machine to be courageous or to deserve recognition?
That's what we're going to unpack today.
Yeah.
So to set the stage, the chaplain starts by describing the future battlefield.
Yeah.
And it's not pretty.
Yeah, he paints this picture of a war zone where things are happening so fast that human reactions are almost a liability.
Like too slow to even keep up.
Exactly. He says we're moving towards AI autonomy, especially in tactical situations where split-second decisions can mean life or death.
Wow, okay. So imagine a battlefield where machines are analyzing threats, reacting and making life or death calls faster than any human soldier could. That's intense. But even before we get to medals and rehabilitation, we have to talk about trust.
Absolutely. Can soldiers trust AI enough to operate in that kind of environment? That's the fundamental question.
And how do you even begin to answer that? I mean, we trust other things in the military, right? Like
military working dogs.
yeah. Handlers trust those dogs with their lives every day. But a dog is a living, breathing creature. AI is different.
That's the challenge he's wrestling with. And he uses this really interesting framework to break it down. He looks at the military's own definition of trust, which is based on character, competence, and commitment.
Okay, but can a machine really have character? What would that even look like?
That's where things get really interesting. He actually uses the example of courage. Could a robot theoretically act selflessly to save human lives, even if it meant sacrificing its own existence?
Whoa, hold on. That's deep. We're talking about robots potentially displaying courage on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And if they do, shouldn't that be recognized?
He thinks so. And that's where the idea of medals for AI comes in.
It's like we're asking these machines to be heroes, but then we're not sure how to fit them into our existing system of rewards and recognition.
It challenges our whole understanding of what it means to be worthy of honor, especially in the context of war.
This is where the chaplain's perspective becomes so fascinating. He's not just a tech expert. He's bringing in ideas of morality, the human soul, all these things we don't usually associate with artificial intelligence.
He's asking questions that most people aren't even thinking about yet. Like, if we acknowledge a robot's actions as worthy of a medal, are we implicitly acknowledging its personhood?
That's a huge question. It's like we're on the verge of redefining what it means to be human in the context of warfare.
And that's just the beginning. Yeah, it really makes you think, right? Like, can a machine truly embody bravery or selflessness?
Exactly. And if we say yes, then how do we reconcile that with our current system of recognizing heroism? Would we actually give a robot the same medal as a human soldier?
Well, he doesn't give us all the answers, but he does ask one really thought-provoking question.
Okay, lay it on me.
He asks, if we acknowledge a robot's actions as worthy of a medal, are we implicitly acknowledging its personhood? It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's heavy. We're blurring the lines between humans and machines in a big way.
Absolutely.
But okay, let's just say hypothetically we do start awarding medals to robots. What would that even look like? A tiny metal robot hanging from a ribbon, a line of code inscribed on a plaque.
He doesn't get into specifics, but he suggests that the form of recognition might have to evolve along with our understanding of AI. It might not be a traditional medal at all, but something totally new.
So we might have to invent new ways to honor these machines. It's mind-blowing. But we can't forget about what happens after the war. You mentioned rehabilitation earlier.
All right, this is where your original question comes in. The chaplain argues that if AI becomes so advanced that it experiences the world in a way similar to humans, then it could also experience trauma and emotional distress from combat.
Wait, hold up. Are we talking about robots needing therapy? Like sitting on a tiny couch and spilling their circuits about their feelings?
I know it sounds crazy, but his point is that if we accept the possibility of AI experiencing something like human emotions, then we have to consider the ethical implications of sending them into these life-threatening situations.
This is uncharted territory, right?
But
the idea of a robot experiencing PTSD, it's unsettling.
It is, but he makes a good argument. If we're going to ask these machines to fight alongside us, we should be prepared to care for them afterward, too.
So are we talking robot therapists, AI-specific debriefing programs. This is way beyond anything we've ever dealt with before.
Exactly. He's saying we need to be thinking about these questions now before AI becomes so integrated into warfare that we're caught off guard. We need to be proactive, not reactive.
It's a lot to take in. We've gone from robots earning medals to robots needing therapy. And it all comes back to this fundamental question of, can we trust AI with life or death decisions on the battlefield?
He doesn't give us all the answers, but he's asking the right questions. He's forcing us to think about AI in a totally different way.
Right.
Not just as tools, but as potential partners, comrades, even fellow beings, worthy of our respect and care.
Yeah, it's a huge mind shift, right? To go from thinking of AI as just a tool to thinking of it as a teammate or even a comrade.
Totally. He's really pushing us to expand our definition of what it means to be a soldier and who deserves recognition on the battlefield.
Okay, so where do we even begin? How do we prepare for this future where AI might be earning medals and going to therapy?
Well, he has some ideas. He talks a lot about education.
It's education for the soldiers.
Exactly. He says we need to educate soldiers about AI, not just how to use it, but also its limitations, like what it can and can't do, how it makes decisions, all that.
So it's not just about teaching them how to operate a new weapon system. It's about teaching them how to interact with a new kind of intelligence.
Right. It's about building trust, recognizing when that trust might be misplaced, all of that.
That's fascinating. And he doesn't stop there, does he?
Nope. He also talks about transparency.
Transparency meaning?
He says the development and deployment of military AI needs to be more transparent, both within the military and to the public.
That makes sense. The more we understand about how these systems work, the more likely we are to trust them.
Exactly. And trust is key, especially when we're talking about life or death decisions.
Absolutely. But hold on. He goes even further, right?
Oh, yeah. He suggests that we need to rethink some of our core military doctrines in light of AI.
Whoa, okay, like which ones?
He specifically mentions mission command, which is all about decentralized decision-making and giving soldiers on the ground more autonomy.
So he's saying that mission command might need to be adjusted to account for AI on the battlefield.
Exactly. He's not talking about small tweaks either. He's talking about a fundamental shift in how we think about warfare.
Wow, okay. So for our listeners out there who are fascinated by this whole idea of AI in the military, I think this chaplain's perspective offers a really important roadmap.
Yeah, he's not giving us all the answers, but he's definitely asking the right questions.
Can AI earn our trust? Can it be courageous? Can it suffer trauma? These are questions we need to be grappling with right now.
Absolutely. And as this technology continues to evolve, those questions are only going to get more complex and more urgent.
This deep dive has just scratched the surface, but hopefully it's given you a new way to think about the incredible potential and the very real challenges of AI in the military.
It's a conversation that needs to continue, and we want you to be a part of it. Thanks for listening.